Hi, and welcome to Ruth Pilates Studio. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so excited to have you. I want to give you some tools today that are going to help you through all my workouts. These are 5 essential movement concepts that when you master them, you're going to make your workouts 10 times more effective. Number 1, the chest lift. This is a movement and a placement of the body that we use very often to engage the abdominals. A lot of people struggle with when they first start working out and they're like, oh my gosh, my neck hurts. This is uncomfortable. I hate this. I'm going to share with you a secret that makes this so much easier, makes your stomach work better, and allows you to lift your head and chest without working your neck. It may take time. Keep that in mind. As you get stronger, you'll be able to hold yourself up in the position. So first I'm going to reach my arms up to the ceiling and plug my shoulders down my back so I have nice stability in my upper body. Look through the window of the arms, lift the head and chest. Now right here you might say, oh, my neck kind of hurts. So this is where I get you out of it. Keep your relationship between your arms and your head the same and reach forward. So you're using your shoulder girdle to help you come all the way off the tips of those shoulder blades. The ribs are closed. You're trying to make less space between your ribs and your hip bones. Press your lower back down and feel your waistline firmly on the mat. Your main connection point in this exercise is your T-strap area. So for my ladies, that's where your sports bra line is. Press that deeply into the ground and make sure your forehead is forward. As you get tired, say you're doing your hundreds and you're starting to get tired, what's going to happen? Your head starts to lower down and boom, those frontal neck muscles turn on, you're straightening your neck. So as you get tired, I want you to reach further forward and really lift. Then once you can no longer hold, just come right down. This is going to help you with your hundreds, your series of 5, all the ab exercises where the chest is lifted. You're going to use this exact same concept. Number 2, the bridge. So this is also known as a hip thrust. Anytime that you're pressing your hips up from the ground and lowering them back down. This is a great glute and hamstring exercise. You'll see this in a lot of different forms throughout my workouts. It's often done incorrectly, so I'm gonna fix some of those common problems for you today. I'm bringing my feet all the way together with my knees bent, my heels pressing into the floor. You'll see in my classes as they progress, you'll start to elevate your bridge where your feet are up on a lifted surface to get a little bit more activation. But if you are not ready for that, keep your feet down, right? Listen to your body and work your way up to these exercises. So first I just want you to reach your arms really long on your mat and then open your chest. So you're using your upper body here. A lot of times we forget that the triceps are really active in our hip bridge. The first thing I want you to do is notice the little space behind your lower back. That's your neutral spine, totally normal. Now just get rid of that space. Notice what that does to your abdominals. It turns them on. This is your trick for the hip bridge. Keep your abs engaged. So I'm going to press my feet into the floor. I'm keeping my belly button in and up. I'm really deepening into my abdominals as I lift my hips. Now you may just go to this height, and this is a great place to work. Your inner thighs should be squeezing. Your knees and shoulders are trying to make a straight line. I see this all the time. Right here, the pelvis is tilted forward. The abs are not engaged, and it's going to be really hard to activate the glutes and hamstrings. So find that connection. Squeeze your glutes, really use your mind to muscle here to turn on the back side of the legs, and then you should feel that engagement. And as you lower yourself down from this position, take a spine stretch by melting the spine down, articulating one vertebra at a time. That's going to help with your roll-ups as well. Number 3, the roll-up. These articulation exercises that Joe Pilates instilled in his entire workout system are so important, and they're very challenging, but once you understand the concept, you're going to notice your strength and flexibility of your spine grow exponentially. So knowing just how to do this exercise and how to modify when you're just starting out is going to be essential for these workouts as well. This is where I want you to start practicing your roll-up. This is a great place to begin. Just bring your hands behind your thighs and lift your spine really tall. Imagine you're trying to keep your head right where it is in space, and then tuck your tailbone under, still trying to keep your head where it is. You're only allowed allowing your head to go back when you can no longer pull the pelvis away from the thighs. So keep going until your arms get straight and make sure you're deepening into your abdominals here. Hold. See if you can release your hands. Then come right back up. If you have any difficulty there, stay right there. I'll teach you how to progress this if you're ready. Once you can comfortably do this half roll down position with no arms, reaching your arms forward, you're gonna make your way all the way down to the mat. The roll down is where you get stronger. So don't throw this away. Don't let gravity do it for you. Find your tall lifted spine first and then tuck the tailbone under. Squeeze your inner thighs a lot. Reach your arms forward as if I'm pulling your wrists forward and you're trying to get out of my grasp by pulling your abdominals away from me. Make your way all the way down to the mat. Try to feel one vertebra at a time as you lower all the way down. Now, the roll up. This is where the challenge comes in. I want you to find that same articulation the whole way up. You're starting with that chest lift we already worked on. Then, when you get stuck right here, press your lower back down firmly. That's gonna lift you up, almost like a pogo stick. Pressing your lower back down is what lifts you up. It's counterintuitive. So a lot of times we think up, up, but what we really wanna think is down, right? So as you lift your head and chest, your ribs press down. As your ribs press up, your waist presses down. As your waist comes up, your lower back presses down, and you make your way all the way up. Now, as you advance this, you'll work your way to straight legs, and I'll show that one time. Again, still reaching your arms forward, pulling your waistline back as you melt your spine down to the ground. One vertebra at a time, lowering the head and chest. The roll up is the same concept with straight legs, it's just harder. Chin to chest, start to round your spine. Now, if you get stuck and you cannot get your lower back flat right here, bend your knees to work through it. Otherwise, keep your legs long and then roll all the way over. Take that nice stretch, you earned it. Number 4, the hip hinge. This is another glute and hamstring activation exercise. We have to be able to differentiate the movement of our pelvis from the movement of our lower back, our knees, and the lower half of our bodies. So I want to teach you how to dissociate the movement of the hips from the rest of the body. This is going to make your workouts 10 times more effective. Now we're standing up, and I want the feet parallel, hip distance apart. Soften your knees. This is important. You do not need to be lock-kneed here, especially while we're learning. Keep the knees soft. I want you to picture your whole body is wrapped around with tape, so you can't move, almost like you're wearing a corset. I'll place my hands behind the head just so you can really see what's going on in my torso. I want you to notice first, if you can just move your hips and not move your upper body. So right here, I'm kind of stabilizing my torso and my hips are moving. This is like the opposite of what I want you to do in a hip hinge, right? I want you to pull the abs in and up and keep your body in one straight line. Think of yourself like a teapot. As you lower your chest down, your tailbone is going up, 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 up. You should feel a stretch through the back side of the leg. Once you feel that stretch, really engage the glutes and squeeze the whole way up. So that's the hip hinge. I want to show you what I see a lot is we go out of our range. If you have tight hamstrings, your hip hinge might look just like this. It could be this small, and that's great, as long as you feel that engagement. So depending on the mobility you have, a lot of times I see people go past their mobility where they have to round their spine. Now, once the spine is round, the hip is no longer the hinge, the back is. So we really want to keep it in the hips by keeping the spine long so that you can engage better the hamstring and glutes as you come all the way up. Number 5. The squat. The squat is a super popular exercise. You see it all over your Instagram, and it is often mixed with a hip hinge. Most movement researchers and the talented trainers out there agree you do not want to mix your hip hinge with your squat. So I'm going to show you how to separate those two motions so that you can get the best out of each one. When you're first learning this exercise, I want you to use props to assist you. So these props are not for added challenge, they're a way to make the exercise easier. I'm using 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, you could use 2 barbells, anything where you can have your heels elevated off the floor. So I'm placing my 2 yoga blocks down, and I'm gonna allow my heels to rest on them. I love using yoga blocks because they're nice and soft, and they're not gonna hurt your heels. Think back to our hip hinge exercise, right? Where we're hinging forward. Now, instead of the hips being the hinge, we want the knees to be the hinge. We're working the front side of the leg. So we already worked the hamstring and glute. You learned how to make that effective. Now we're gonna learn to make the front side of the leg work for you. Go ahead and stack your arms in front of you. Again, plugging the shoulders down, abs pull up. Picture your spine is leaning against a flat piece of glass. As you bend your knees, you're still leaning into that glass. You're trying to keep your shoulders over your hips as much as possible. Go for a full bend, go all the way down. Hold for a moment, and then press, slide all the way back up. Again, lowering down, take your time, make sure your shoulders are over your hips, really slowly coming down. And then press all the way up, nice and strong. I want you to work the eccentric movement. So we're gonna take our time on the way down. You're gonna get so strong from practicing like this. Hold at the bottom, and then powerfully press all the way up. These are things that you're gonna be working on over time. Remember that success doesn't happen overnight. Practice makes perfect. Know that the more effort and thought you put into these concepts, the more that you will become talented at them. If you find yourself struggling with these 5 things, you do this video, you still just can't quite grasp these concepts, use our one-on-one 15-minute personal coaching session. You get 1 of these per month. And I can talk you through this, I can look at your form and make sure that you are in the right position. If the bones are aligned correctly, this is the magic of the human body. If you place your bones in the right place, the right muscles will fire. It's such a simple idea, and when I realized this, it changed everything for me. So form is so important. Follow these instructions to get amazing form, and you will have amazing workouts in the Ruth Pilates studio and outside of Ruth Pilates studio.